Okay, so I've been playing a bit of Warhaven, and I decided to give Hush a few rounds, and who would have thought that this soldier was a good idea? Seriously, she has great dueling, slides, kicks, and not to mention 3 dashes. Seriously, I think she has a lot to bring to the table, and I don't really think that she's picked that often. Let's review why Hush is seriously underrated as a soldier in Warhaven. First, I think what needs to be mentioned is her speed. Now, I do realize most other soldiers move about the same speed, and there is a slight speed increase mechanic when chasing enemies, but what I have noticed with Hush is that she can engage and disengage with very little effort. This is because she's not meant to be in sustained fights against blades and certainly not spikes. What's important to know especially is that she can use her speed to heavily flank enemies who are not paying attention, like ones distracted by, say, a team fight or an ally immortal that just spawned. Because of her sprinting attack, you can absolutely provide some great surprise damage and perhaps even get a swing or two off before you dash away. This is important because this leads me to her other great attribute, which is disruption. Sweet mercy, use her to disrupt enemies. And I don't just mean attacking enemies, I mean playing mind games. Because of her capabilities of jumping in and out of combat, she can 100% use that to her advantage by drawing some enemies away, and if she can get an unfair advantage over someone, sure, get the kill. But most of the time, players will turn to fight you and leave themselves exposed to other directions and your allies. And not to mention, you can get behind them with a crocodile bite that allows some either free damage or forces them to have to reposition against 2 different enemies at 2 different angles. While her speed is an asset, the attention she can draw is severely underrated, and very quickly she can turn the tide of a fight without really doing much. So given the toolset that Hush has, she can absolutely be used in a dueling setting, either using her crocodile bite to get some free damage off on the enemy, or perhaps using the jumping eagle talent to surprise them. The beautiful thing about Hush is that her enemies know not to get too close, as she can surprise them with some fast damage, or perhaps even a guard break kick that allows basically a free swing. And if you do pull this off, by the way, if the free kick guard break, I would suggest using the thrust attack from behind. What did he say? As this deals immense damage if pulled off correctly. I mean, basically, it could almost one-shot someone, just so you know. It's interesting to see how players approach her, and when they see her in guard stance, they start preparing. Again, there's a bit of mind games to be had with her. Overall, I'm still progressing with Hush and picking her up and playing her more often, but seriously, she is underestimated. Do not underestimate her strength. There's a lot that this class can do. Okay, so let's talk about her best use. Personally, I use her mobility to attack or overwhelm enemies who are already in combat, looking to provide that unfair advantage while teammates can do some heavy lifting. Seriously, it is completely undervalued what she can bring to the table, and then even when in combat, her toolset is meant to offset and confuse enemies, so that they make a mistake or create an opening for yourself or your allies. The versatility of Hush is not only being great at surprise damage attacking, but for her to be able to cover other aspects as well. On Dominion, for example, I use her to capture side nodes or perhaps even a respawn camp. This is forcing enemies to have to come and deal with me while my teammates can go ahead and push other nodes or look for a capture. And then this also leaves me to choose if I want to duel the enemy that came to handle me, or secure other nodes, or just run away. This adds a bit of a mind game because your enemies are going to be wasting time chasing you while your allies can push elsewhere. Honestly, playing like a mobile assassin, this is how Hush is meant to be played. Now, of course, some of the downsides of her is that she's incredibly fragile. Seriously, like one direct headshot and she can get deleted, basically. She seems to have a good trauma bar, meaning that if she blocks enough, she can be pretty good. But I found that her swings are faster than enemy swings, and if you time it right, you can get your hit off before they can, allowing you to have an edge. Seriously though, there are times where it's just like a single swing from a blade and you get absolutely obliterated and there's really no counterplay. It's just kind of like, what the heck was that? I'd also like to note, while she is fast, some enemies can keep up with her or at least keep close to her, such as blades or spikes, or even a smoke. So while she may seem faster, it may only be slightly. I'm not 100% on this one here. Overall, I think she is probably one of the most underrated soldiers in this game currently, and I'm excited to see how they implement her further. Perhaps some more damage tuning, leaning further into the glass cannon aesthetic, but who knows. The game is still very much in early access, so a lot can happen. But I beg of you, give this soldier a try. If you want to see 7 straight minutes of Warhammer carnage, click this video here. Stay caffeinated, folks.